first, check this out. I mean, I can't believe this. A long-serving police inspector of the Merseyside Police Force, a guy called Ross Meredith, he had actually impeccable right-on credentials, including his membership of the Merseyside Police's LGBT plus network. Anyway, he has committed, according to the Merseyside Constabulary, the egregious crime of declaring on social media that climate change activists, you know, those idiots who stop the traffic or spray paint Van Goghs and the Mona Lisa and all that sort of thing, you know, disrupt other people's lives. He said that they were like spoilt special needs kids, and suggested that they were suffering from a mental health condition. So heinous were these comments, these social media posts considered to be by the Merseyside Police, that they accelerated. They had a really fast, a special fast misconduct hearing. They accelerated it especially. And this poor guy, 27 years, was summarily sacked for gross misconduct. He also posted about Just Stop Oil. This evil cult are so dim, they simply do not realise the futility of their tantrums. What sensible person would disagree with that? Who could argue with that? Well, the Merseyside Police, the gloriously woke Merseyside Police, said that Meredith's language had, and I quote, here we go, listen to this claptrap, undermined our considerable efforts to be an inclusive force that represents all of our diverse communities. Give it up. What a cliche. Well, look, to talk about this, here is former Met Police Detective Chief Inspector, one of the old school coppers that we ought to still have, but I'm afraid don't, Mike Neville. Welcome to the show, Mike. Now, he's a sort of former... This guy's a colleague of yours in a way. My guess is he's a good copper, 27 years, he's an inspector, and his career just ended like this for posts that, you know, they're not swearing, they're not vile. He just said this cult are so dim they simply don't realise the futility of their tantrums. He believes that they're suffering from some kind of mental health condition and that they act like spoilt special needs kids. Now, if I was his boss, I might say, listen, Ross, it's a difficult world out there. You know, let's be a bit careful with this. Don't do those kind of posts. You know what will happen. They'll only get the idiots all up in arms. Instead, immediate, specially accelerated gross misconduct hearing, and he's fired. Gone. His career's over. That's a disgrace, I think, don't you?
It is absolutely, Kevin. I mean, when you look at the actual post, he was talking about... He even said the word dog dirt. He didn't say S-H-I-T. He said, you know, these are dog dirt on your shoe. These are such, like, bland posts he's putting up here. And you know as well as I do, what the public see is that the Extinction Rebellion and the like, they're stopping people getting to work, they're stopping people getting to hospital appointments, they're stopping people getting to their parents' funerals. The public are really angry with Extinction Rebellion. And when the senior police officers talk about, oh, we must be inclusive and we must, you know, go along with all this, they are the ones who are out of touch. Inspector Meredith, he is the one who's in touch with public
Yes, exactly
opinion.
right.
He's the one who the people in Liverpool would say, I want this man to represent us. And as you say, he's in this LBTQ or whatever it is, and it seems to be right on, but that he's had no mercy whatsoever. And I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. Once again, we see the police or senior police officers completely out of touch with the public who they're supposed to serve.
Absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head there, Mike, that what Ross Meredith is saying, you know, as I say, these are difficult times. You know, you walk on eggshells when you start dismissing Just Stop Oil and all the woke warriors we're supposed to admire. So, you know, he arguably should have been a little bit more careful careful. But is this a sacking offence to state what we
Kevin,
all think?
What you've got, you know, as you said, what could have happened, what used to happen in the police is he could have been called in by the chief inspector and told, look, whatever you're saying here, you've got to be careful, don't do this. But now, and you see it across the country, you see it in the Metropolitan Police in particular, people are dragged through the discipline procedure for the most stupid things. I was dragged through the discipline procedure for saying I don't agree with gay marriage. You know, but these are personal opinions. These are things that are absolutely legitimate, and you're showing what you're showing now is that the Merseyside police, the people that put out, it's
yeah. We'll get on to that in a second. Yeah. This is you know, we've got a picture of we flashed it up earlier. Can we see Ross again, Ross Meredith? Well, we will in a second. Anyway, I just feel so sorry for the guy.
Let's get a campaign. Let's have Inspector Meredith promoted. Yeah. Let's get him back. Let's get him promoted and serving the people of Liverpool and Merseyside, because he's obviously a decent bloke, I would suggest.
Yeah, look, let's just get this into context. There he is. Now, he's a middle-aged guy, but 27 years, so he's been a copper, boy and man, if you like. He obviously joined young. 27-year career. As far as I know, spotless. You know, obviously fell in with the sort of woke ways of the modern policing, joined the Merseyside Police's all-important LGBT plus network. Well, good for him. 27 years. That guy has just had his career ended for posting hurty words about Just Stop Oil. This is madness.
They're not even hurty words. They're not even hurty words, are they? As you said at your beginning, there's no swear words, there's no nasty words. As I said, he talks about dog dirt rather than dog S-I-H-I-T.
Yeah.
These are such bland nonsense. What is going on? I can only suspect that he's annoyed somebody higher who wants rid of him, because what he said, how they can classify that as gross misconduct, is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, that's not gross misconduct, is it? I mean, it's sort of very, very slight misconduct, I would suggest. And frankly, as you quite rightly said, Mike, all the audience, all of us is going, well, you know, what he's saying is exactly what we think. In other words, that's what the people think, but the woke senior coppers are right out of step with what Ross quite rightly said, in my view. You might have been a bit more careful about it, but that is not a sacking offence. Now, let's get back to that point we were alluding to earlier. We are talking here about the Merseyside police, who notoriously, a couple of years ago, went into the Wirral, part of their patch, as it were, and let's have a look at this. If you're watching it, they had this van with a billboard on it. Read it. If you're listening, it says, these are coppers standing around with this van in a big square, public square in the Wirral, part of the Merseyside Constabulary, and on that is, being offensive is an offence. Well, the next day, the Merseyside police had to apologise for this ridiculous billboard on account of being offensive is not an offence. How could coppers get such a basic fact wrong, Mike? I'll tell you why, and you can give me your answer after mine. Because they are drunk with this wokery. This wokery has robbed them of the common sense we expect from our coppers. Madness and wrong.
It is madness, and you've got so many officers. There's officers on duty right now who are facing firearms, knives, who are being assaulted, who do a good job. But what you have is the senior officers who are absolutely obsessed with this wokery. Their whole career has been based on celebrating diversity rather than arresting robbers, burglars and thieves. And I always said at Scotland Yard, if you had to say to everybody above commander to the commissioner, write on a piece of paper how many burglars and robbers you have personally arrested and put it on your door of your office, they would be an embarrassed silence, because hardly any of them have made any arrests. Their whole career has been to do with, as I say, celebrating diversity, dealing with wokeism. We need a real step change in the police. The whole thing needs to be torn down and started again, because what the public wants, are people with common sense, like Inspector Meredith, who can see that Extinction Rebellion, a bunch of spoilt middle-class brats who may well have mental health issues, who are doing stupid things. They just want officers to prevent crime and catch the criminals when their home is burgled or somebody is sexually assaulted or something is stolen. They just want officers to deal with crime. They don't want this nonsense. And the fact that he's been found guilty of gross misconduct is utter nonsense. And the people who found him guilty of this, it'd be interesting to see their WhatsApp messages and stuff, to see what jokes they have sent, because I'm sure they would be far worse than the comments he's made.
Absolutely, and just to go back to that billboard, I mean, it's pretty damn worrying when coppers, are so, as I said, drunk with their own wokery, that they don't understand the law. They think that being offensive is so awful, it must surely be a crime. It's not. And by the way, in this country, you have no right not to be offended. You're not protected from being offended. If somebody offends me, that is not against the law, or you, Mike, right?
Absolutely. It takes a lot to offend me, I suppose.
And me.
Have a bit of a thick skin. But it is absolutely... The trouble is, all the time, is the police have diverted themselves. They've diverted themselves from dealing what we all want them to deal with. We want them to make the streets safe. We want to feel safe in our houses. We don't want our cars stolen. But they've set themselves these silly agendas where people putting tweets out or calling somebody a nasty name is some kind of massive offence that they can then put billboards up and stand around and feel good about themselves. As I said before, the whole policing system needs a reset. Refocus. Sir Robert Peel, he was, in 1829, the whole thing he said about the police, about preventing crime, he wanted guards, soldiers as in the police. All those things in 1829 are as true as they are today, but we've been diverted away to dealing with nonsense, and it has to stop.
We've been diverted to diversity, if I can put it that way. Mike, great to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on. That's former Met Police Detective Chief Inspector Mike Neville, friend of the show, of course. What do you think about that? Poor guy, 27 years. Put some hurty words, nasty words about, not that nasty, about Just Stop Oil. What we all think, actually, that their, deranged demonstrations are futile. I think it's not fashionable, or it's no longer acceptable to talk about special needs kids, but we know where he's coming from. It does look to me as if they often have mental health issues. So, why does he lose his job for that? Gross misconduct. Do me a favour, please, everybody, police forces, Merseyside police, stop this madness.